right, 215-592-9494. A lot to get to today. We will talk some Phils as spring training rolls on tomorrow. Of course, Howard will be on with Rob Thompson on his show. Eric Kratz joins us later, the Wheeler situation. But we start there with a little Howie Roseman, Hugh, because what was that, about a month and a half ago? Howie said the cupboard is not bare.
Not even.
And I agree with him. The cupboard is not bare. But, there's a difference between a bare cupboard, right? Like that day before you have to go grocery shopping, like when it's really bare.
Kind of like my cupboard is.
Yeah, your cupboard. That's bare, okay?
But you have, this is a perfect analogy. Mm-hmm. You have food, but nothing that serves you right now.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
You gotta build it up.
Yeah, you got to, I might have some rice, but I don't have anything to put with that rice.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
You know what I mean? I'm in survival mode.
So I agree with Howie that the cupboard is not bare, but the cupboard is also not full. It's not full enough to be a Super Bowl team. And as we enter the real crux of the offseason, this whole week on WIP discussed the Hassan Reddick situation. The backdrop of all of this and the Eagles' decision is really whether or not their Super Bowl window is still open. And I may change my mind on this. I reserve the right to change my mind on this in a month or a month and a half.
Yeah, and that's fair.
But today, I don't think it is open anymore. I look at the Eagles roster, and I don't see a Super Bowl team right now. I don't think this window is open. I think it has, quickly, and this happens in the NFL, quickly opens, and then it quickly closes. And I think they have to work to create a new window. Here's what I see. Mm-hmm. I see a really poor defense right now. And
I agree.
Poor defense.
Totally agree.
I see their most consistent offensive player shirtless at a Buffalo Bills game and on the
bothers you.
Well, not that bothers me. I think he's halfway out. I think there's a real chance Jason Kelsey's not going to play anymore, and that's a major, major loss, obviously, until they replace him. I see Hassan Reddick, their best defensive player.
Shirtless.
I see their best defensive player, and his agent is shopping for trades. I have two new coordinators here. That's going to take some time to get their plan in place. I see a head coach who I don't really believe in, and I have a quarterback, the biggest part of this. And right now, I can't say with conviction I believe he's a top 10 guy. I don't think he's 20, but I don't know if he's top 10.
I believe he's top 10.
I look at this morning, Hugh, I just jotted down a list of 10 names that I can make a case will be better than him next year. So I got to see him jump back at that top 10.
Wait a minute, 10?
I got 10.
10.
All right, here, I'll just do it quick. 10 names that
Give me 5.
5?
Give me the low 5. The ones that like
6
5
through
through 10. Yeah,
okay.
well, 6 through.
All right.
You know what I mean.
Well, I didn't order them, but I'll just throw it. You pick out one you hate, and you could yell at me about it. Ready? Next year, I could see all 10 of these guys being better than him, okay? Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, Dak, Lamar, Love, Stafford, Herbert, Stroud,
I don't know about
Purdy.
Herbert. Stroud.
Herbert with Jim Harbaugh? It's going to bounce back.
I don't know.
I'm just saying, what my point is.
I know what you're saying.
That I can't with conviction say he's top 10. I wanted to put him in there. Yeah.
It's the unknown. And when you got to 6, I really didn't have a whole lot to say. That's not a bad list.
There's a lot of good quarterbacks. And look, if you told me right now, and maybe you believe it, that he's going to bounce back to top 5, top 10 next year, no doubt, then the window's still open. The way I see it right now is this window is closing. I don't believe it's open right now. Hugh, what do you feel on the Super Bowl window?
I believe it's open. I believe we can fix our quarterback. The one thing that you have to have in order for a quarterback to be successful, the quarterback and the coach needs to be on the same page. We need to figure out what that page is. I know that these last 6 games that we had on this slide, that put a bad taste in everybody's mouth. And that makes everybody a little bit on edge, a little bit uneasy, because we don't know what happened. And we still don't know what happened, Joe, but I still believe in Jalen Hurts. I know that there's a lot of stories coming out now about how he got brand new and he got his $255 million. I mean, to be honest, that tends to happen when you get paid. I mean, it does. You just have to figure out how to adjust and adapt and still be what you need for your football team. I think that he can do that. I really believe that could be the case. He just has to get it done. We need to figure out a happy medium in all of this. And I think it can be done. I really, really do.
215-592-9494. It can be done, and I understand Hurts is the biggest part of it. And let me make it clear, I don't think Hurts is bad. I don't think he's a bottom quarterback. I think he'll be better next year. I'm just saying I'm trying to find reasons. I think we all want to do this, right? We want to find reasons why the Super Bowl window is still open.
Yeah.
So I go to the head coach. Nah, that's not a reason. I don't believe in him. Okay?
Did you see that picture with them at the steak spot?
Yeah, I did. I did. That give you confidence?
Well, Coach Goober, his face, man, I'm not going to lie. Because I still see it's going to be like this for me until I see him in Eagles gear. But he just looks like a cowboy to me, like a goofy cowboy. Like, seriously, with the smile and the goofiness.
That's your offensive coordinator.
Yeah. I mean, and I hope that he fixes our team, but right now he's a goofy Cowboy
So
guy.
he is. And I do think Moore's a good coach, and I think Fangio's a good coach, but it's their first year. It's going to take a little time for them to get their, what they want to do and how they want to do things into place. Teams with 2 new coordinators, that's not easy to do that in the first year. So the head coach, question mark. Coordinators, they need time. The quarterback, again, I can't say with conviction today he's going to be a top 10 guy next year. Not saying he's 30, but I mean, tell me right now he's 11 next year. That makes sense to me after what we saw this season. And I look at the team. Kelsey's probably going to retire. Reddick could be traded within weeks. This doesn't feel to me like a Super Bowl window is open. 215-592-9494. Do you believe the Eagles Super Bowl window is still open? Which feels almost like a crazy thing to talk about and ask, but Hugh, in the NFL, windows open and close
very, very quickly.
Yeah, and almost like before you even realize it. The Eagles Super Bowl window opened, I think, quicker than people realize. Like, holy moly, they're the best team in the league, 2 years ago in 2022. And now it feels like it's closing rapidly. Hugh, when you guys had your run, and it's one of the great things about Andy and your team back then, you were able to keep it open for a while. Now, unfortunately, it didn't lead to a parade, but you were able to keep that thing open for, I would say,
you had a chance, chip in the chair.
About 4 or 5 years, you had a real shot.
Yeah, because the thing we had going for us, most of the guys we had were under contract, and we knew the direction we were going. When it started to get a little frustrating, I'm not going to lie, is when we kept losing in the same way and there was nothing being done about the upgrades at certain positions. We all know what those are. We don't need to talk about that, but we all know what I'm talking about. So it was one of those things where it starts to wear on you a little bit. But you still believe that you're in that window. And when I look at this team and I look at the offensive weapons that they have, yeah, this was a tough season, no question about it. But I feel like offensively, if you get on the right page and you stay on the same page, you have enough to get back to the big dance. You do. And the defense, is going to be deficient for the most part of the season, I would think. But I feel if you get the right pieces in here and if you implement the right program and scheme for these guys, that as the season progresses, they will get better. I wholeheartedly believe that because I've seen it. I've seen it in the last 2 seasons in the NFL. And the model should be what the Kansas City Chiefs did. Like they had a tumultuous season both times they went to the Super Bowl. Tumultuous. They didn't have the kind of season that you think a team that would win the Super Bowl would have.
Especially this year.
Yes, but they were able to get it done. That's what it's about, man. I want to get back to the basics. I want to get back to teaching young players what it is to be a professional athlete. Because a lot of times we get caught up as fans, man. We see the name of somebody from another team. Like, what was it, Bradbury? Not Bradbury, Byard.
Kevin Byard.
Oh,
yeah.
Look how excited we were. Oh, we got Kevin Byard. He got some good football. Oh, and we got him before the week we played the Kansas City Chiefs. Oh, thank you, Kyle. You see what I'm saying? That's what we do. And then we're disappointed when we don't get what we thought we were going to get.
Yeah, to use a car purchasing term, we bought a lemon there. We thought we were driving something nice off the lot.
Instead of watching, you know what the best part about watching college football for me is to watch these young freshmen come in and grow into the player that they become that eventually gets drafted. Like young Jeremiah Trotter Jr. You watch him go to college. Watch him when he played at St. Joe's and would see the videos that Trotter put up on him about him and everything, and watched him groom from a young player in high school to a young player in college to becoming potentially a first-round draft pick. That's the beautiful thing about watching sports and watching people play. We need to get back to that because it's the same thing in the pros. We are so accustomed and used to, especially here with our great GM, not taking anything away from Howie, of him going out and making moves, making these big-time moves to get these big-time players. How about we get some homegrown players and groom them?
So, Hugh, I think they're going to have to do that as time goes on, right? As Jalen gets more expensive, they're going to have to do that. Here's how I'm looking right now at 2024. And the Eagles over the next month can either make me feel this even stronger or they could change my mind. I think 2024 is going to be a reset year where they're going to play all these young guys. They're going to draft young guys. They're going to go with the Hugh Douglas plan. And then 2025, as those guys grow and beyond, that's going to be the next reopening of the window. I think the window that opened, whether you believe it was the second half of 2021 or 2022, I think it's closed now. They got too many question marks here. A defense they got to rebuild. Jason Kelsey likely to retire. Reddick may be out of here. And the quarterback right now, I'm not sold, is a top 10 guy next season. 215-592-9494